subjects. So let's start with introductions. So go ahead, Matt. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
How you doing? My name is Matt Knowles. I am one half of Insymmetry Creations. We do everything from metal music to comics and graphic novels, panel hosting, movie reviews, articles, all kinds of fun stuff like that. We currently are on Kickstarter with Tatsumi the Serpent Mistress. We are very close to minimum funding for the very first issue of this series. And Ed, thanks for having me back on after I bludgeoned your ears with Trollfest Flamingo Overlord a week and a half ago.
No, dude, there's some shit I have to listen to. You don't even understand. You would say no yourself. So
I knew that. Yeah. I knew that you guys, once you give it a chance, you guys are going to be like feeling like Dash did, one of the best albums he's ever heard. Good stuff.
Well, Dash says that a lot. So he loves albums. That's the thing. He loves music. So you can't go wrong with a show about music where he discovers things and loves them. So yes, that was fun. Now it's onward to Bear versus Shark. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. So, Braxton, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Braxton Cosby. I'm the CEO of a small press publishing company down here in Atlanta, Georgia called Cosby Media Productions. We published over 30 authors with 60 titles in ebook, audiobook, and paperback formats. We also have our own comic book imprint currently with 12 comics and 2 graphic novels called Star Child Comics. And we are currently on our March with our second half of the year conventions that we're doing. And we've just dropped our first manga, novel, and comic from a talented author named Chris McCauley. And it is currently #1 on new releases on Amazon.
Nice. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right. And Brett, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm Brett Giuliano, the creator of the Dust Bunny Mafia comic, which is a newspaper style comic. It's like Looney Tunes meets The Godfather. I've been doing it. I'm the creator, artist, illustrator, one-man show for it. It's been running for over 12 years. And I've come out with a variety of Kickstarters, everything from playing cards to graphic novels, all set within the Dust Bunny Mafia universe. And I currently have a Kickstarter for Mafia Unmasked, a chronological look at the American Mafia through a comic retelling. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I have lots of your stuff. I have some of your poker chips and all the different things that you've done. I always enjoy it. I still need to get you. We still need to work it out to get a cover for my Corruptor book. So you can
we do.
Make my characters into animals. So yeah, that would something I still want to do because it's a 4-issue series, so we still have time to get it done. Or maybe for the trade or something like that.
Yeah, let's do it.
But I got to get my mobsters and my comic turned into animals like you do because I love that. All right, so seeing right now is just checking to see if Fish is on the way, but my message shows as unread. So Fish Lee will be here eventually, and when he does, we'll let him introduce himself. But every week I pick 3 different topics, and of course one of the topics is just talking about your campaign. But this week, the first topic we're going to talk about is if you're a superhero, what's going to be your kryptonite? So I know mine, but I always go last. So Matt, what would be your kryptonite if you were a superhero?
Man, if my kryptonite would be a gas tanker full of ranch dressing. I always say ranch dressing is spawned from Satan's anus. It needs to go back from whence it came. That stuff is disgusting. And the only thing you could do to make it worse was to put ranch dressing on fried okra. And then seriously, I would just disintegrate to dust because that sounds like the grossest combination in the history of history right there.
Oh, man. Yeah. And that makes me think they have this commercial where the person can't get their ranch through the TSA. So they start chugging it. And I'm just like, I'm retching as I watch it. It's like, what the fuck? Who wrote this shit? Why would you ever think that it's a good commercial to watch people drinking ranch? But yeah, oh man, that was, I'm with you on that. And I accidentally one time, I was ordering a pizza online and I accidentally clicked the ranch button for sauce and cooked ranch first bite. Oh man, I actually threw up. So I'm with you.
I'm not a big fan of sour cream either. There was one time recently I went to Taco Bell and they tried to poison me because I got my taco and I bit into it and it had sour cream in there. And I'm like, dude, you guys literally just had attempted murder on me right there. I don't understand. So that's a close second.
Okay, yeah. See, I like sour cream. I'm not going to go against that unless you warm it up. It's got to be cold. But yeah, the ranch. Ever since the accidental ranch pizza, I'm with you. Like I see it and I start. My stomach starts bubbling. So yeah, I can just blast through the ranch aisle. Don't look. Don't think about that ranch pizza. So yeah, I'm with you. So all right, Braxton, what's your kryptonite going to be?
I'm gonna go a little crazier than that. Mine would be urine.
Mm.
I am not a golden shower guy. I'm not into any of that craziness. I was in college one time and I was fine with urine for a long time, but then I was in a biology class and they made everybody bring their urine to class. Don't ask me why. And so they gave us these little containers of it. And it was just the grossest experience I've ever had in my life, just looking around and seeing everybody's urine and cloudy urine, red urine. It was just the worst thing in the world. And we had to take some kind of a sample and
Man,
what kind of acidity and all that stuff. But just the whole class just made me sick. So anytime I think about urine, I feel like losing my mind. And I'm like, if I could be the most powerful superhero in the world, if somebody like had a super soaker full of urine and hit me with it, it would be over it.
You're going down
on contact.
Yeah. Oh man, it sounds like that class. Some people need some help. They you guys need to go seek a doctor right away. You're bringing in red urine. There's more going on.
Yes,
the teacher needs to stop the class. Like, all right, we had a fun experiment plan, but you guys go seek medical help immediately.
They should have shut that down, and they didn't. And so it was all in the name of science, but it didn't work for me.
Oh man, yeah, I'm with you on that. I would not need to be in that class. I mean, although I've had kids, I've had to change a lot of diapers, so it's you have to deal with the gross. But it's people say, "Oh, don't worry, you get used to it." You don't.
No.
It's always gross.
Yeah.
It's always bodily fluids. They reek. It might be your cute little baby, but that shit's gross. I don't care how many diapers you've changed. I never got used to it. It never became normal. So yeah, I think even with a baby, like, all right, that the urine's gross, but then it's like, all right, when you change a bunch of shit diapers, the urines become secondary. Like, thank God it's just pee. So you can not have to change the really nasty stuff.
Yeah, I am. I just, I'm a science fiction fan. I've always wanted to, of course, get in a spaceship, go into the stars, do the whole 9 yards, right? But I tell you, I saw a video the other day. They were talking about how, because I guess I never thought about it, like how people actually urinate and use the bathroom in space. Mm-hmm. And the men have to like put this kind of condom unit on, and the women have to kind of insert another catheter. And because if any one drop got out, it would like float and like disperse into the air. You'd end up breathing it in and all that. So it's like there's like a real process. And then what they do is they take the urine and they filter it, and then you drink it for your water. So I was like, I guess I'll just never make it to space. I'll just keep playing video games.
No astronaut for you. Yeah.
Not at all.
That's rough.
The crazy directions the live streams go.
Those are the best ones. It's like, okay, I want to go on the weirdest tangents always, and that's why I pick topics that can take us there. And we've already got there. And what are we? We're 9 minutes in, and it's already gone off the rails. And I'm here for it. I love it. All right, Brett, what's yours?
So I'm going to go in a completely opposite direction of both of those.
Thank you. Good.
So mine's a little safer. Mine would be vintage mobster memorabilia, because I'm so into that with my research, with my comics and everything. If I had anything where someone showed up with old craps dice or something, that a hat or something that was, that had historical significance, I would just, it'd completely distract me, and it's like, oh, forget everything else. I'm just going to go right, Yeah.
The villain's destroying the city over there, but shit, I need that hat. That's a piece that I've been looking for. So the building's going to fall as you go walking over to the alley to negotiate a deal for the hat. So
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And see, mine's a different direction too. Mine would be email. So I think about this, like, here's the villain. He goes, I have given the plans of how to save the city in an email. Like, oh, fuck that, dude. City's ruined. City's going down. I'm not going to dig through my email to find your stupid your stupid one that you sent about how to save the city. Sorry, city, you had a good run. It's over. So yeah, mine definitely going to be something coming from the email or just procrastination. Like, okay, you can save the city. I'm going to destroy the city in 5 days, and I'm going to wait till day 4.5. And the villain's like, just kidding. I'm going to destroy it right now. And because I would wait until the very last minute, the city's going down in flames. So yeah, that's mine. Well, there's a lot of weird ways the city's going to be destroyed with the people in this room right now.
Right.
I don't even want to think about the combination of all four of these things converging together.
Oh no,
Right.
Urine Wrench in a mobster hat sent through email.
That's a super villain.
We've created the villain of our universe.
That's right.
He's got two vials on his hands. One is going to shoot out the ranch. One's going to shoot out the urine, and then he's just going to have a backpack full of stuff that can make sure that Brett can be distracted. That's his shiny things. Like, ooh, look, we have vintage hat. This, one of a kind, worn by whatever mobster. So yeah, I think we're way too easily distracted.
This sounds like something that could sell maybe tens of issues.
Yes, yeah. We could raise like $100 on Kickstarter with this wild concept. All right, so we're gonna move into our second topic, and that is, what is your best experience at a con? Because last time we did the live stream, we were talking about the worst parts of creation, just the things that are hard and grueling and always a difficult task. So now I said, all right, let's look at the good things. What's a great experience you've had at a con or a signing, anything like that, where you had a great fan interaction? So we'll go backwards this time, and we'll start with Brett. So Brett, what's a great experience you've had at a con or a show?
So one of the most interesting things, since I take a lot of true crime stories and adapt them for my comics, especially doing stuff in Chicago where there was so much organized crime history, is I've started getting people that will come up to me and have stories from their family who have interacted with mobsters and different things like that. And one of the wildest stories I had was a woman whose grandfather was an art professor in the northern suburbs of Chicago during the day. But off hours, he worked for Capone repainting walls and scenes after a hit. And so he would bring his dog with him to these different locations, and the dog would help him find out if the body was still there. He would clean up the scene after they disposed of the body and repaint things and do all that kind of stuff, cut carpet. And so if the dog sensed something was off, he knew, hey, go to this location. He'd bring his dog with him. If the dog started acting funny, he'd go around the block, or he'd, take a walk, come back in half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Once the dog stopped acting funny, he knew the body was gone and could come back.
Wow.
And then one job he missed, he was in downtown, and his dog was in the car with him or in his truck, and his dog got out. And so he had to pull his, car over and go chase the dog. Well, apparently that day was Valentine's Day, 1929, and his dog had him miss the St. Valentine's Day massacre. He was supposed to be cleaning up that job, but his dog got loose in downtown, and he had to go chase the dog. And once he got back to the scene, there were already cops there, and he just kept driving.
Crazy. So you that's a whole book in itself with your stories. Like, you have your mob animals, and you have the dog who's saving the mob animals. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a great one.
Yeah. So I've had these, all sorts of interactions, and that's the kind of stuff that's like, oh, I could totally work this into something. And yeah.
Get your book writing itself when you have the people telling those real life stories that they had happen to them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so Braxton, what's your favorite con interaction?
Well, I mean, I think we all have that one opportunity where we've sold something, whether it's a comic, novel, whatever, the year before, and then another year the person comes back and they're looking for what you got next, and you don't have necessarily something for that series. So I had written the Steel Rain series. I had the novel and the comic that go together. And the guy came and he had gotten that the year before, and he was like, "Man, I'm just looking at what else you have. Do you have another Still Rain?" I'm like, "No." I said, "But I got this new series, Broken, and it's got a comic and a novel to it too." So he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to buy that because I just love everything you write." And I was like, "That was great, you know."
Yeah.
But I had a really, really great interaction with a panel I had done for 3-act structure and like character creation and like the anatomy of a villain. So I kind of put all those together. I presented it. I think it was at Atlanta Comic-Con down here. And the next year, this lady just hit me up on social media recently and was like, "Hey, I know you don't know me, but I was in the audience and you did a panel at Atlanta Comic-Con. And afterwards, I came up and I asked some questions because I was writing my first screenplay and we talked about it. And you really gave me individual time on that, and I really appreciate it. And so I actually got that script that I was writing on, that manuscript. I actually was able to get that script into an opportunity to do a live reading. And now we're talking with some production studios on trying to get it put out into a film. Maybe even if it's just a short film, it was just something that she had accomplished because she saw it come from this baby and developed over time. And she said that all my notes and things that we talked about really helped her to polish it up and make it what it was. So that was just cool, just to be able to kind of feed into somebody else along with what I just love talking about, which is great storytelling.
Yeah, that's great. Hopefully it does materialize into a film. That'd be great. I want to see that as the next summer blockbuster. That's not a boring rehash of what we've already seen 8 million times.
Right.
We need some new IP in the world, but you know, that's a whole different topic. We've gone over reboots, rehashes, sequels,
prequels,
and it's just like, come on, there's so much great IP out there, and what are you going to do? Let's release the same boring IP. Here's Stitch, but live action, kind of, because it's a CG thing. And that's going to make all the money. And then stuff like yours, stuff like anyone in this room, we're just sitting there waiting. Because, Brett, I need the animated series of your Dust Bunny Mafia. Like, that would be a cool little, Bugs Bunny style. But, again, let's just relaunch King of the Hill because, the first run wasn't good enough. So, I guess I'm bitter. And I don't want to, I won't shit on it because some big King of the Hill fan's going to come after me. But that's all right. You'll always have your old stuff, and then the new stuff, you're going to hate it anyway. In a few weeks, they'll be complaining online anyway. So in the end, they'll join me one way or the other. All right. So, Matt, what's your favorite one?
All right. So if you'll allow me, I'm going to say 2 because they're coming from 2 very, very different sides of things. Mm-hmm. So the first one, Steph and I are guests at a show in Shreveport, Louisiana every year called GeekCon. And for whatever reason, we're actually like legit celebs in the Shreveport area. So one year we had these 3 boys came up. The way we call them our boys, but they're probably like early 20s. And they walked in. We were talking with them, joking around with them. They walked around the building. They came back to us like 45 minutes later, and they're like, "We're going to come over here. We're going to buy a bunch of stuff from you guys because we've been in this building for 45 minutes." And you're one of only 2 sets of people that actually took the time to stop and actually talk to us like we mattered. Mm-hmm. And had a good relationship with the guys. And there was one guy, Matthew, that cracked us up because they're like really into this stuff. And I'm like, "Man, I want to hear what you think about this book." He's like, "I'm not a smart man, but I'll do my best to see what I can do." They came back the next day, and this dude who was talking about him not being a smart man in his Shreveport accent, came back, and it was like he was a Rhodes Scholar. He's like, "Well, I got to tell you that in this issue, I really appreciated this, and the thing you did with the storyline here, this was really great." And we're like, "Dude, don't ever talk about your intelligence, man." I'm like, "You're intelligent as heck. You picked up on stuff in this issue that nobody expected." So fast forward to the next year at this show. It's Friday night, and Steph turns around and looks at me. She's like, "I wonder if the boys are going to show up this year." About 60 seconds later, here these guys roll up. And they're like, "Dudes, we literally bought a ticket for Friday night just to come in here and see you guys. We've seen you. We're done. We're out."
Wow. Nice.
So we're like, that's pretty cool. So the other thing, I do panel hosting. I do emceeing at some shows. And the biggest one I do is at Spookala in Florida. Horror Pop Culture Festival. The panel stage is set up like a concert hall. So like every panel's got like 1,000 people or more at it. So they told me that Michael Rooker, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all, that Michael Rooker was going to do his own panel. He didn't need me to go up there and help him do anything. So I just introduced him. He started doing his thing. But I also hear that his good friend, Dave Bautista, is going to be showing up and wants to surprise Rooker. And so the guy that runs the show, Deej, is like, I'm going to need you, if Bautista shows up, to figure out how to get Bautista onto the stage. I'm like, all right. So I'm off to the side at Rooker's panel, and I see Deej walking up, and he's doing like this. He's pointing over his head, and he's walking to me with Bautista. And I'm not a small guy. A lot of times you say, with a camera, you can't tell how big or small somebody is. Dave Bautista is a freaking massive, humongous individual. There's very few people I physically look up to. He's one of them. So we're talking about what we're going to do. And I'm like, well, hey, Rooker's out. He's in the crowd with the mic. Maybe when he's out in the crowd with the mic, we can like sneak up on stage. And Bautista looks me dead in the face. And he's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm just going to sneak up behind you. You're going to hide me so we can walk up there onto the stage. And I looked right at Bautista. I'm like, dude, you can try that, but there is no way that's going to work, dude. I'm like, you are way bigger than me. But I'm like, who's going to argue with freaking Dave Bautista? So, we did our thing, but that was actually kind of fun that Bautista thought that he was going to be able to conceal his gigantic self behind me. So,
yeah, that's funny because I mean, he's a pro wrestler. Those guys are just tanks. They're built so big. No one's going to hide them unless it's another pro wrestler. Like, all right, maybe King Kong Bundy is going to hide Dave Bautista, but it's going to take someone massive. So, yeah, for mine, I have two as well. One, I was doing a con. I had this kind of sweet little old lady walk up to my table, and she's like, oh, are you the writer of this book? I'm like, all right, feeling all proud. And it's like, yeah, that's me. So you wrote everything in here? I'm like, yes, I wrote everything. All these words are yours? I'm like, yeah, they're all my words. She's like, they're filthy. You need to clean your act up. So I was like, that's the greatest thing that's ever happened. Like I thought she was about to shower me praise. I'm so proud that you made a book. She's like, no, this is filthy. My grandson bought it, and there's so much profanity and blood in here. So, oh man, it was, I still loved that one. Even though she didn't love me and she was very angry at me, I just thought it was so funny because it took such a turn that, I'm all beaming with pride. Shoulders are getting higher. You're just like, hell yeah, I wrote this. This is my words. Like, yeah, they're filthy. Clean it up. And then I had another one where I had these Powerpuff Girl cosplayers come up to the table. And normally I don't even pitch I'll pitch to the cosplayers,
right,
but never expect to make a sale because you don't see them holding bags. They don't have backpacks. But these three, they heard the pitch, they bought the book, and the next day they came running to my table, and they're just talking about every single thing. Oh my God, I love so much. This character is so great. This character is so great. And next year we're cosplaying as your characters.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was such a cool thing to have these cosplayers that you just think they're a lost cause. But hey, there's slow points in the con. You will pitch to the janitor. They're pushing the cart like, hey, want to hear about my book? I can't fight them. Like, I did not ask. I just said you want to hear it. Boredom's kicking in right about now. And I pitched to security guards and you name it. And this time I pitched to those cosplayers. They bought it. And it's like the one thing they're holding in their hand is my book. And the next day they came up and they were just, they wanted to know everything about everything. They bought issue 1. They're like, we want all the other issues now. And yeah, they just came out and then cosplay as the characters the next year. So that's my two good ones as well. So let's see. So best con experience, William says, best con experience is when everyone wears deodorant. That's a dream, man. That's not going to happen. You could hand deodorant out at your table, and those people would still say, yeah, I'm just not going to wear that. Sorry. I have a musk, and they want to keep that musk going. Yeah, because cons are some smelly places. All right, so, and it says, Matt is pitched to janitors and security guards. Yeah, why not? And that's what they'll tell me. I'm not going to be allowed to buy your book. I'm like, hey, don't you just want to hear about it? Because you just never know. And I've had a couple where they've come up like, okay, now I'm off. I want to get a copy of your book because I will bother everybody just because, yeah, cons get slow. You have those dragging hours and you're like, yes, a body. I'm going to pounce on whoever this person is and tell them a little bit about my book. All right. So, hey, Gray Wolf, good morning. I guess good morning for me. I don't know where everybody else is. I think good afternoon for the rest of the world. And then Aaron, first one will be Nashville. So yeah, I look forward to actually meeting you in person there. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's coming up. Is it next weekend? Yeah, I think so. My schedule's so crazy with things to do, but I'm like, oh yeah, I guess next week we won't be live. I'll find Aaron in Nashville and go interview him in person. So yeah, that'll be fun. So all right. Thank you for those best con experiences. Now we're going to talk about, not in a popular opinion, it is something shocking that you love. So what is something that you love that people would be really surprised to know that you love? So Braxton, what's something
I
that
knew you were going to do that. Right when I was trying to warm my brain up. Something. Let's see. I don't know. Something I grew up falling in love with as a kid just because I watched it all the time and it was the only thing on TV at the time that I got home from school. And a lot of people, it's kind of a fandom thing, but I thought it was very popular. But the more I talk to people about it, they're like, oh, I never heard that before. Or they're like, wow, oh, you actually like that? I would say I'm a huge fan of an anime series called Robotech. And I've loved Robotech since I was a kid. It got me like really into anime and mechs and big robots and all that stuff. So I'm always a huge fan. So it kind of ties into why, like that book I was saying about earlier, the manga, comic, and novel that we have called Nexus Astrum, which is a series by Chris McCauley. When he brought that to us and I saw where he was going with the vision of it, having its own world that he created that was based on mecha and all this stuff. And then we finally got the right artist, Leo Rodriguez, and his crew to bring it to life. It was like a dream come true to me. So I actually executive produced it myself just to make sure that we got our hands on something like this that we could actually push. So I guess what I fell in love with back in the day finally came to fruition. So we're actually launching our own line in that genre. So,
very cool.
You know, most people don't really know about Robotech, but I love it. I've loved all three of the war series that they had and even the spinoff. So it's been a big part of my life for a long time when it comes to animation.
Yeah. So he's asking, have you ever watched the original Macross series?
Of course. Yeah. Absolutely. A little bit slower to me. And I think that I think Macross is on one of these little stations now where it kind of just plays over and over again. So if people want to catch up with it, you can. But I feel like Macross didn't move as fast as Robotech series did. But yeah.
Yeah, it's slower for sure. And that I remember I love that too. And when they put out that big Blu-ray box set with everything, had to rush to get that, and it was limited edition. So it's like, ooh, don't sleep on that. So yeah, I'm right there with you on that. I remember watching it when I was a kid, and it's like you have to tune into it. That was before DVRs and everything.
Yeah.
Life's so easy. Like, all right, it's going to be on at 4:00. I better make sure I'm in the house at 4:00 to watch the next episode, because with it being episodic, if you miss one, you're going to get lost. Like, what happened in the last episode? I had to clean up the dog's pen and I missed it. So now I got the Blu-ray, so I finally filled in some of those holes.
Oh, beautiful!
I was a kid.
Yeah, I still have the classic DVDs. I have all of them from the series, so I probably don't have anything to even play it because I got all the fancy stuff now. But the thing about Robotech that I did like is that when they would have the next episode, said on the last episode, they would kind of say on the next episode,
recaps,
kind of tell you what to expect. So you kind of had an idea to kind of fill in those gaps. But I'm like you, I came home from school, it was 3:00 every day. If I missed it, I got home at 3:15 or something like that. I missed like half of the show. But over the years, I've obviously made up for it just because I have access to it now.
Yeah, now it's a lot easier. Now it's not okay. It's shown at this time, and then you have to wait till it loops back around to rerun season.
Right.
And at that point, you're just like, which ones did I miss? They would play reruns out of sequence anyway. It's like, all right, they're just going to toss them in because they figure you saw it when it was live.
Right.
All right. So Brett, what's something that you love that's going to surprise people?
So, one of the things I really cultivate with my online persona is all the crime dramas, the true crime books, all the mobster stuff. But one of the last fall, I got really sick and I had to take some time off work. And I was just literally sitting in bed, couldn't do anything, couldn't work, couldn't do comics, couldn't read. I was having pounding headaches, and I was like, all right, what's on TV? What can I find, something to, help me get through and kill some time. And I stumbled upon Only Murders in the Building.
I heard about that.
And that's a show I binged the 4 seasons of it in like 2 weeks because they were really good. And it's one of those, you've got a great cast in it. They had all sorts of fun, like eccentric personalities. The writing was good. It was funny. It was heartfelt, but it knew what it was, and it wasn't taking itself too seriously. And it was still like a, murder show, but it was a fun detective murder show. And yeah, that's one that I never thought I would like. Actually, and it's something my parents were like, "Oh, you should watch this." And normally when my parents say that, it's like a, maybe 30% chance I'll actually like it compared to what, and I'm like, all right, we'll see. And then, yeah.
Yeah, normally my parents tell me I should watch something. That's my reason not to turn it on. So yeah, when they're right, and it happens, it's kind of surprising. So yeah, that's great. So Matt, what's something you love that people would be surprised?
So I feel like this is a harder question for me than for most people, because anybody that knows me knows I'm a pretty eclectic, wild dude. I mean, I let you hear, Trollfest, which is, Balkan extreme metal with accordions and saxophones. I've got 100,000 Legos literally on display in my living room. I'm a soccer official. I'm a football fan. I'm a sports fan. I'm all over the place. But, when I'm like just sitting in my living room, like I like to watch like the house flipping shows, so much so I think I've got like 4 of them that are like set on my DVR. So I'm like, there's like 4 different ones. I'm like, not that I'm ever going to go be a house flipper, but I don't know why I like love watching those shows so much, especially when they're like, they're like, oh my gosh, we went so far over budget, and now we might only make $80,000 profit instead of $85,000 profit. And I'm like, dude, you are not getting any sympathy from me whatsoever on that, dude. But for whatever reason, if there's a show like that, some kind of house flipping show, I am all about those things. I don't know why I'm so enthralled with those things. Maybe because they're taking something old, repurposing it, making it something new, which kind of goes along with the steampunk stuff that we do in a lot of our titles. Maybe that's part of that with me. I don't know, but yeah, really into that stuff.
Yeah, I can. Oh, any of those shows, the way they structure them, they'll just hook you in, and next thing you know, you've watched 6 hours of them. So yeah, I know that. Like when they were doing the Catch a Contractor, and they were getting those bad contractors, I can sit and watch those. But the one for me that I picked was one that it was because I mentioned it the other day, and my entire family was just freaking out, and that's the Pitch Perfect movies. I love those stupid movies, and I can watch them anytime. I like the music. That I said they're just delightfully fun, and my daughter's like, what the hell happened to you, Dad? Who am I talking to right now? So yeah, that's one of those things, because I'm one of those people too. Like I like a little bit of everything. That's what one of my friends at work said. He's like, wow, you can converse with pretty much anyone because you know and love a lot of things. Like, all right, I love sports, I love comics, I love movies, and yeah, it's like I love music, so I can pretty much carry a conversation. I reached my points. Like our neighbor had a rockabilly wedding, and I realized I have nothing to speak to the rockabilly guys about, because I'll pay for someone to fix my car. I don't love sitting in the garage and getting my hands dirty and fixing a car. I mean, I can, because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend the money at a mechanic. But when that was their passion, it was rockabilly music and repairing cars. I'm like, damn, I finally found a place that I have nothing to talk about. So that's when I hide in a corner and disappear. All right. So you love those movies too. All right. So Katrina says she loves the Pitch Perfect movies too. So all right, I'm not alone.
You're good.
Because nobody in my house likes them. I'm the only one. So I got to watch those when people fall asleep. So that's when it's like, oh, what's Dad doing? He's sneaking to watch Pitch Perfect at night. It's like, all right, I guess if I was 15, it would be sneaking to watch other things at night on HBO. But now it's all right. Let me see Pitch Perfect 3. I haven't watched that one for a while. Like, yeah, the sequels are terrible, but I love them. I like the stupid songs. They're just so good. All right. So is there any stuff you love outside of media aside from Legos? So, we talked about Legos a while ago, and I love Legos. I have a bunch of sets that I always try to finish them. I have the Gundam models as well because I love giant robots, kind of going back to the Robotech days. And I'm so slow with building them, but yeah,
I've got two in the box that are probably like 10 years old. I haven't even started them yet.
Yep, they're sitting there. They'll one day get built. I built a lot during COVID when I had COVID, okay. And I got quarantined into the other room, and I couldn't see anybody. So what did I do? I built like 3 Gundams and 2 Lego sets. I finally pulled them out of the box. Like, what the hell else am I gonna do? I binged a shitload of shows. So kind of like Matt, I was watching HGTV shows and everything else. So it was just, please, this is pure boredom. And all I wanted to do was sneak out and run. And I finally did. When everyone went to work, I'm like, fuck it. I can't get a random gopher in this trail that I'm going to run 6. So I'm just going to go run because I felt good, but was still testing positive. So yeah, Legos are awesome. I'm trying to think like outside of media. I love too much. I mean, you go to my garage and you're like, damn, that guy needs to stop collecting shit. I love action figures. I love, collecting books. I love sports. I'll tune into sports all the time. I will ESPN, like, oh, World's Strongest Man. There's some dude pulling a tractor. I will tune into that for 4 hours. Like all of a sudden, damn, I've just fallen into a World's Strongest Man loophole. So yeah, I just like stuff. Too much stuff. All right. So anybody else have another crazy thing outside of media that you love? Aside from Legos, of course.
Man, I watched the spelling bee the other night, man, and I got stuck on that thing, dude. I was like, there was nothing on, and I'm like, man, I watched the spelling bee, and I'm like, dude, I like this guy. Come on, Sharv, let's go, man. See if you can win this, Mr. Little 5th grader. Let's see if we can do this.
Yes. Yeah, you get hooked into the people. Yeah, I mean, I've watched hours of poker on TV. I barely like playing poker, but I'm sitting there watching World Series of Poker. So yeah, I guess you throw boredom in, and I will put any random dumb thing on the TV for sure.
I mean, I'm definitely into World War II history, and it's kind of odd because growing up, my oldest brother and my dad were all about airplanes and airplane models and all this kind of stuff. And like, you'd sit there with them, and they'd be like, you'd see like a picture of like, dogfights in World War II, and they're like, hey, this looks like it's this airplane, and this looks like it's that airplane. And my brain, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, you're killing me. This is boring. Nobody wants to hear about all these airplanes. Now I'm like, I like watching the history to see how crazy it was that you could have what happened in World War II in Germany and in Europe happen. And like, that didn't just happen overnight. It was like a series of little tiny things that happened, and then it built on it and it built on it. And looking at the history, you're like, wow, I can't believe that these things were able to happen. And the next thing you know, it built up to this. I mean, that stuff is just completely fascinating to me to watch the slow decline of that, of that society and how that wasn't like the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy because you start seeing how things cycle in history, and just like, oof, scary thought. But we're going to keep this show political free. So yes, we'll talk more about ranch and urine. So we're gonna let's go back where we were. So
I love Asian culture too. I mean, in the food, we went to Thailand last year, and I told my wife, I'm like, I just want to stay here. I don't want to go back. Everybody was just, I mean, beyond the food and the beauty of the environments and everything, the people were the nicest people I have ever, and it wasn't just the people on like the place where we were staying. Yeah. It was just in the city. Everybody would talk. Everybody was just so kind and gentle and just welcoming. I was like, man, this is like paradise. So wow. As much Asian food as I can eat, though, especially if, we have a huge Vietnamese community here in Georgia. That food is amazing. So we always have a great time. And I'm writing my latest novel as a historical fiction in feudal Japan. So I'm like, just like
very cool.
Engaged, totally, like getting all the research and putting it into a story and writing a fiction around it to bring it all together. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's cool. And that I'm finally going to Japan. We're going in 2 years. We're kind of pre-planning it. Very so cool. I can't wait. Everyone I know who's gone to any of the countries have said that it is just the best trip you'll have. So yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to because I've never been there. I've been a lot of places, but not there. So all right. So Katrina says novels. So do you have any novels out already, Braxton?
Oh, I've written 20.
20. Okay.
Yes, it depends on what she likes. And again, with publishing, with Cosby Media Productions, you can go to cosbymediaproductions.com, Katrina. We have genres on top of genre on top of genre. Like I said, we published over 30 authors with 60 different titles. So there's something on there that you'll like, I'm sure. And we are, Ed, we're what we call a hybrid publisher. We publish our stories in both novels and comics. So for instance, if you look at the lovely young lady over my shoulder here, that's Kisa Donovan. She's actually part of a series that I wrote called the Broken series. It's dystopian with zombies and factions and all of that. And the novel, book 1 starts off in a novel. Book 2 is a comic book, and book 3 is a 60-page graphic novel. So if you like just be able to switch up stories and check out different things, let me see. I think I got a couple of them here. Like this is the novel for Broken. This is the comic. The art was done by a talented artist for me named Ram Silva. He did and then he also did the graphic novel too.
Nice.
So
you're talking about, cool. So you're saying you've got like different volumes. So it's not like here's issue 1, here's the graphic novel version of it, here's the comic version of you. So okay, because that's okay. So it's not the same volume with just holding 2 different disciplines. Because that's okay. Yeah,
like I said, it's what I coined as hybrid publishing, Matt, and a lot of our authors started getting on board with it because we published all these novels back up to like 2019, and then we were going to conventions, and those kind of shut down for a minute with COVID come around 20, and I kind of huddled up with a lot of the authors we had superhero series that we built, 19 different novels, 6 different comic books, and I was like, at the time before we did that, we had the novels out. I said, hey, where are we going to go next, guys? And it was like, oh, why don't we do comics? We can do a Kickstarter and get comics done. I said, that's fine, but I don't want to retell any stories. I want to move forward. So what if we can get readers, whether they love comics or they love novels, to offer both of them? What if we can move and advance the stories in a different medium so they can get a different viewpoint? Because obviously when you're a novelist, I'm writing a story and I'm putting all my words in my head in the book to try to help you come on board and see what I see. But it's another thing to actually give you that visually. So, as a reader, you may read book 1 and put all these characters together and the world that I built and all of that. But when you finally get a chance to get into the comic, now you actually see the literal visualization of everything that I was designing. So people love it because they get a chance to kind of move back and forth. And we try to craft the comics to stand on their own. So if you didn't read the novel, could you actually read the comic and it'd be something separate? Yes, because again, I told you I'm a stickler for 3-act structure. We're going to give you that hero's journey in that comic. Now it's up to you if you want to go back and get the foundational stuff where everything originated. That's up to you, but there you can move back and forth, and it's like it's a continuum. So yeah, if people are into comics and novels, man, we got a whole lot. If you go to the website and you scroll right down the middle, we've done it in a way where you can just do it by genre. So it'll be science fiction, young adult fiction. It'll be fantasy. It'll be poetry. It'll be inspirational. So you can just hit a tab, and you'll be able to see all the stuff that we offer.
Yeah, and we'll be sharing that as well, Katrina. So once we get into our next segment, which is actually kind of segueing beautifully into it, he's going to be able to share his website, tell us all about it, and yeah, you can check out what he has. So, Flip City Drawstream is going to be coming on in about a minute, but we'll still be here in that minute. So tune in later for that. So right now we're going to start by sharing. Let's move into our next category. And that is, of course, campaign talk. If you have a campaign or just promotion time. So let's dig in with that. And Matt, let me pull yours up.
Cool. So there's some new stuff on here since the last time you saw it, Ed, too, which is good.
Okay, very cool. All right, so let's see. Matt, you are right here. Just give me a second.
So Braxton, some of the stuff you said, I'm like, man, I think Braxton might be into what we got going on here. So
hey, absolutely. Let me check it out.
All right.
So here we go. Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress. This is the start of a brand new series. This branches off from our I Am Keto fantasy horror graphic novel that happens in the fictional Far East. In this one, it is a swashbuckling pirate adventure where Tatsumi, who is the last remaining daughter of the fallen Yammer Empire, has to go out and explore and see if she can find others that may help her in her conquest of retribution and revenge against the Dark Conquestors and the Sorcerers that destroyed her kingdom. So what Ed has up right now, just yesterday we released some leather work. We have some leather workers that we do some collabs with, and we have 3 different items that they produce that are all themed into the title. You've got the Soul Ripper skull pouch, you've got the baby serpent head keychain, and then you've got the Side Stalker pirate hat, which are our 3 different elements that are in the story. Super stoked to have those guys back on board. So those are some fun collectibles, things that you don't normally get in other campaigns. We love having GB Leatherworks back in the campaign with us. But for those that have seen the campaign before, you know that is not the only thing that we have. We've got shirts, we've got poker chips. That I will say right now that the poker chips we get are inspired by Brett Giuliano. Brett Giuliano is the one who's like, dude, if you're going to do that, this is where you got to go get them. So Brett, give a shout out to him for the fact that we have poker chips in our campaigns at all. We have socks. We've got our 9th and 10th pairs of socks. We're known for the different sock styles we have. There's some of the original art in the issue right there. Shows Tatsumi, who was injured at the end of I Am Keto, branching out and doing her own thing as she's moving forward, trying to go out there. She's going into the Serpent Sea to just see if she can explore. She knows she can't just stay where she's at because there's this evil army that's there. And as she gets picked up by some pirates, she doesn't know who they are. And so she's like, I got to go beat some ass. And there we go.
Nice.
So we've already reached our first stretch goal for backer count, which is at 100. So Richard from Stabity Bunny is going to do a Stabity sampler. So it's going to have a piece of the regular Stabity series and a part of the Stabity Ever After series in that. Our next backer incentive is going to be at 130. As soon as we get to minimum funding, which is going to be at $155, then we'll be adding in another stretch goal. We have some cool things that are upcoming, but obviously we're not going to release them until we or talk about them until we get to those levels.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love when people have unique things, and you don't get much leather. So if you want something like that, there's not a lot of campaigns where you can get it. I mean, we can all offer them books, but I need to definitely talk to you guys about where you get your poker chips, because I had some done and I was less than happy with the results. But I guess that you've both done really good ones. I have Brett's, so I know it's good. So I gotta get in there and order it from the right place and get some good poker chips done.
Well, if you got some from Brett, then that means you know the quality of ours, because we're both getting it from the exact same place. So
okay, cool. Like I said, I'll talk to you about that because I'll definitely want that. And you have shirts, you have socks. We have a day at my school. It's Crazy Sock Day, and every pair of socks I have is the same. It's either plain black or plain white. I don't do crazy. I think I need some Tatsumi crazy socks so I can represent on Crazy Sock Day.
That's right. I think that we can help you out there with your sock deficiency there for Crazy Sock Day. Every day is Crazy Sock Day around here.
Yeah, and see, you already helped me by bringing on the Trollfest album. We have Crazy Hat Day. I'm like, I'm good now. I'm good for life. I got that flamingo hat, and anytime we need to do Crazy Hat Day, I am ready.
So one of the things we do in our campaigns, we know that, we always say everything is always new to somebody. So just because it's a issue that we might have released 3 years ago, a title we might have released 3 years ago, this might be the first time that somebody's happening upon a campaign from Symmetry Creations. So we make sure that if somebody wants to get the digital version of every title that we've done, Heirs of Isildur, Misfits Clubhouse, Tales from Nocturnia, I Am Keto, Tatsumi the Serpent Mistress, they're all in here. There's physical copies. There's the metal music that we play. We have collectible colored vinyl records. We have a lot of the shirts. If you see something or you know of something that we do that's not in the add-ons, definitely hit us up. We have no problem with going in and throwing something into the add-ons for you so that way you can pick up that thing. Like, you might not have been around when we did the wearable dragon head masks. We've actually had people be like, dude, that thing was really cool that you did a couple years ago. I really wish I could get my hands on that. And one of the things my late brother always taught me was that you never want to be in the sales prevention department. So if we can figure out a way to be able to get somebody that thing that they want, we're going to do what we can to make that happen.
Nice. All right. So let me remove this one and definitely back it. You can see it says manager pledge, so I'm already a backer. I always back Matt. I pretty much, if I get Brett stuff, so I need to get in there and make sure that I do that when the show ends, because I love the Dust Bunny Mafia. It's always fun. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so let's see. I'll pull up the Dust Bunny Mafia next. Or not, I don't, what is this one? Let me see.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me get it. I have it waiting here. I just, as this show has, I say all the time, my eyesight is very terrible. I have a consultation, I think July 3rd or 4th, where it's probably going to tell me I need another damn eye surgery. So lovely stuff. All right. So let me get it on to our screen. All right. So, Brett, tell us a little bit about Dust Bunny Mafia.
So, as I introed earlier, so Dust Bunny Mafia is a newspaper-style comic. It's like Looney Tunes meets The Godfather. And with since 2019, I've been coming out with based on a true story series. I created 6 volumes where I take real-life mobster stories, adapt them, and give a little bit of history about what really happened. So it's kind of like how you would see stuff with Looney Tunes or Animaniacs, where they'd make fun of some pop culture thing, but then you're actually learning little bits of history along the way, from classical music to, you know, movie stars and little scandals and things like that.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing with my Based on a True Story series. And then this was actually a book I was putting together. So I finished the 6 volumes. I'm working on combining them into a trade that's going to come out next year. But I wanted something different for the events that I'm doing this summer. And so I was like, why don't I take the best of those 200 plus strips and really distill it down into, here are the high points of organized crime in America, from like Al Capone to John Gotti, and like just here are the major hits, here are the major things. I've already covered them. Let's give some more information about it, and then kind of give you here's a timeline, and like you can see as you're reading it. I want it to be educational. And when I was doing the individual booklets, it was whatever I was ingesting at the time, true crime related. So it was like a podcast here, it was a book here, and it was all over the place. I wasn't really putting a cohesive story. It was more anthology style. So this one is actually taking that and saying, here's a historical look, frame like year by year. And so it goes in order and it bounces around in America, but it basically tells you, you know, here are the high points of the Italian American mob in America. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and they're a lot of fun. I love those books. I have several of them on the bookshelf behind me. It's just hard to see because they're all small behind me. But yeah, I have a Matt's books too. I have Heirs of Isildur sitting on there as well. So yes, I definitely back both these guys. And Braxton, let's just give me a second here. Let me add yours to the stage. So do you have you don't have a live campaign going right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, so let's see. But you have a website where we can get lots of good stuff.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me get that going up here. All right, so Cosby Media Productions. Tell us about this website.
Yeah, so I basically I gave you the link to this tab that talks about Star Child Comics, which is our comic imprint.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you scroll down, you know, there's our banner of all of our superheroes and villains, and not all of them, actually, just a portion of them. And we've got a little trailer there for just our opening video banner, just so people can look at that. But it talks a little bit about who we are, what we have with Star Child Comics, some of our offerings, our titles. People can subscribe to the website. If you go down a little bit more, then you'll see what we call the Cosby Media Productions Dedicated Superhero Universe, which is the CMPDSU. And we just got some posters of some of our main characters. Bark, there's Paladin from my Cape series. There's Menzuo from the Menzuo saga with Keyshawn Dodds. Metatron from Lawrence St. John. And Blessed from Majesties of Canaan. And we just talk about our comic books here. We actually have like little quick notes under the comics for the superheroes initially. And then we also have some of the stuff that we offer, like with Broken and Steel Rain, which is the Bounty Hunter series. We got Majesties of Canaan comic. ANVK is amazing. It's African Ninja Vampire Killers from Kaio Champion. So if you guys are into just something that's a little off the cuff, you like vampires and all the action and sci-fi mix, then that will definitely fill your cup there. We've got the graphic novel for Broken, which is book 3. My latest comic from my Cape series, issue number 2, The Fabulous 5, is out now. That was art done by Marcelo Salazar. And this basically, like we talked about hybrid publishing, I had Cape 1 and 2 with the novels. And then we went into our first team up of crossing over all of these superheroes that we had with me, Keyshawn Dodds, and Kyle Champion, brought all of our 14 superheroes into one novel team up called Infinity 7. First book in that series was called Gods Among Men. That's kind of like our Avengers Assemble, Justice League, if you will. And then we came back. I came back with Cape Hellfire, which was the comic book, which kind of connected those pieces to book 2 of the Infinity 7 series, War of Gods. And that was, and then after that, these heroes, older, kind of hand the mantle down to the Fabulous 5. So they're kind of like our Young Justice team.
Nice.
So we introduced them in the novel. We introduced the main character icon, and then we actually show more of the comic. That's Nexus Astrum on the left there, as you can see. Mm-hmm. That is our manga comic. So really, really excited with that. Big fighting robots. I know, Ed, you definitely can get into something like that.
Hell yeah. I'm in for that. Anytime you throw fighting robot, I'm in. It doesn't take much. I see a cool fighting robot on the cover. I'm like, purchase.
Yeah. And what's really cool about it too is that we're doing like parallel stories with that. He wrote the novel Nexus Astrum Origins, and then he wrote the comics. So we published them at the same time, but they're about separated about 30 years. So with the Origins, you have like the older kind of mechs, kind of like the slower moving Mech Warrior Battletech type stuff. And then you move to almost like the Gundam designs 30 years later. So those two stories are running parallel, different characters, but in the same world. So really, really excited. And what you have on the right-hand side there is the Cosby Media Productions compendium. It's a Star Child Comics compendium, but it's the CMP DSU. So we've actually taken every novel, serialized the summary of those novels into a one-page summary, and then next to it, a comic page that has all the panels that represent the big moments of the novel. So if you read that novel summary on the left, and then you look at the pages on the right, you've actually read the entire novel. Wow. You flip it over, and you get the next one. So we've got 18 novels in there, along with all of the comic books of the CMP DSU, all in one place. And then, like I told you, we have a whole bunch of comic teams that we work with. So this is all of those guys down here and the works that they worked on for us. Bruno Abdias, I was so blessed. He actually did my first Cape Hellfire. He did my first comic book. He has now gone on to do the Cyborg series for DC.
Wow. It's great for him. It looks like you have a lot of great artists working on all your books, and I love that you have so much variety. You have novels, you have superhero, you have mythical, you have ninjas. I mean, vampire hunting ninjas. Like, all right, you definitely got my interest. You got giant robots and vampire hunting ninjas. And, you can't go wrong with either of those. So,
and what's cool about it is that we have all of our stuff is on Amazon. If you have Kindle, you can actually get the comics in ebook, or if you want to buy them direct from our site with the copies that we have. Some of them are sold out. You can actually go right to our online store and purchase them straight from us, and we'll mail them out to you.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. So definitely, I'm going to put all those websites into the chat. So just give me a quick moment. I'm going to put them all in there. Definitely get in there and back these when you can. And for Braxton's, you don't need to rush. You can go on Amazon and start slowly piece away at what he has going on. I already have a few that I know I want to be grabbing. So first up here is the link to Brett's. So let me pop it up here. So grab that one while you can. I definitely will. I haven't backed it yet, but I'm always slow. My procrastinating kryptonite, it always is like, oh, there's one day left. Shit. And I get that reminder. So yeah, I'm always at the last minute, but I can help the drama at the end when they're trying to fund. But both of these, you're funded, right, Matt? Or you're close to funding?
We're 155 away from minimum funding. Obviously, nobody wants to be at minimum. You want to be able to get way past their minimum, is just so the fun can start. We got a lot of things we want to unveil, but we are 155 right now away from that minimum funding level. Yes.
And see, that one I already backed. So my procrastination didn't fail me on that, because you were on the Troll Fest show, and it was my reminder, like, get in there and back Matt. So Brett, this is my reminder. So I won't wait till the last day this time. And then Braxton, like I said, I gotta check out at least your giant robots, because we share our love for giant robots.
Absolutely.
I'd love to write one, but every time I've attempted to crack the story, I just don't like it. I'm like, I'm gonna let other people tell that story and let them entertain me, because mine was never very good. I guess if it's not hyper violent and insane, then I deal with more of the mystical stuff. And I've tried the robots, but maybe one day I will finally crack the code and we can do our robot crossover. For
Absolutely.
the two kids who raced home to watch Robotech every day.
Yes, and
if you understand the frenzy of making sure you're there.
Yeah, if you go on the like I said, if you just go on the online store and purchase it straight from there, I'll sign it for you and mail it out to you.
Awesome. I will be doing that. And yes, Katrina, procrastination. I've tried to solve it my entire life. I have failed, so I'll do my best. But in the end, I always back them. So I guess that's the good thing. I haven't actually missed one of the people that I intend to back. So here's where you can get that In Symmetry Comics Tatsumi, and it looks to be a great story. I love all the art that I've seen so far, and then the story you've told me about it. We talked a little bit more about it when you were on the music show last week. Well, that was, I guess, 2 weeks ago. Last week we were talking about a Spanish album, and you were not part of that. See, I need to drag you in for one of our worst albums.
Dude, you know what? I have no problem with doing that because I listen to a ton of music from all over the place, but that doesn't mean that there's not albums out there that I probably want to take a, like one of those mashed potato whisks and stick it in my ear. There's definitely some stuff like that out there that would probably make me want to do that. So
that was Joe Walsh for me. I lost my shit that episode because it was so bad. I couldn't get past the badness of that album, so I was very cruel. And no Joe Walsh fans have come after me. Only a Kate Bush fan has come after me. She did not like me. She attacked me in like a multi-paragraph essay. I mean, respect for all the work she put into telling me I suck. So I mean, she could have made it nice and easy, like you're a piece of shit and how dare you. But instead, she was very articulate and well spoken, and I'm like, all my criticism needs to be in long form essays. The teacher in me was very pleased with the writing and the fact that she argued all of her points, even if she was wrong. So, all right. So Katrina said she once asked a physics teacher about the formula for an ice pick to the eye, so I wouldn't have to help with the class anymore. See, that's smart. I guess that's a way to get off of jury duty too. Ask the judge when they're like, I've always been looking for the formula for the ice pick to the eye. Like, all right, dismissed, go home.
I once got called for jury duty in downtown Chicago, and I happened to bring one of my mob books while we were waiting. I served one day and was dismissed.
Beautiful. It's like, get rid of the mob animal guy who knows everything about organized crime. Maybe he's not the guy we need on this trial. Or maybe he is. Maybe it would do like, oh, your expertise, you're going to become the new expert witness. All right. So I have nothing to promote of my own. I actually will be launching the Immortal Era number 11 in July. But for now, the pre-launch page isn't up. The only thing to promote for me is come to Nashville Comic Con. If you're in the area, Aaron's going to be there. Carissa Grant's going to be there. And I'll be there, so should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And tune in Wednesday for First Impressions, Bear vs. Shark, the band. If you don't know them, definitely go listen to them. If you like hardcore, post-hardcore music, they are great. And we're going to be talking about their album Terrorhawk, and we have their singer and their bass player guitarist. I hope, I'm not sure which one exactly. I have to research that, but we have them coming in live, so you can ask them questions about the album when I'm doing the interview, and should be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, definitely check out that album. It's a great one, and that's going to be covered on Wednesday, and then I fly out to Nashville Thursday early in the morning. So I'm going to wrap that show up and then just basically go to bed and get ready to fly out to Nashville. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, Katrina, you were hired. You haven't come in and taken your job duty. She got She was helping us research for Joe Walsh. She tuned into the episode. Joe Walsh gave us some facts, listened to me tell about how much I hate the Eagles, and I stand by those words. They are the worst. I hate them. And Katrina should have been in there. So yes, Katrina, you got to come in, produce. And next week, like I said, we're going to be talking live with the band. It's exciting. It's our first live band to come onto the show. And then actually in 2 weeks, we have another live band coming on. So we have two shows in a row with a week gap in between because of Nashville. 2 shows in a row where we'll have the band live in studio with us. So should be great. That's going to be Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So please tune in. I want to get some big ratings so they can get lots of questions and we can ask them what their kryptonite is and will it be ranch dressing is the question. Ranch dressing or urine? Who knows? Because I mean, I think you found universal kryptonites with those ones. And Brett, yeah, me, it would be some kind of good collectible. I'm the same way. Like you show me that shiny thing, like, ooh, I've been looking for that. That's one of my grails. I got to go hunt that down. And oh, damn, whoops, they just burned that building down behind me. Should have been more focused, but I guess we know what we love and we know what will distract us and we know what we hate, I guess, too. So kryptonite and urine. And I still, Braxton, that whole story, like I just imagine the levels of like dehydrated, shrunk, like you have serious medical conditions, go to the hospital right now. Just whoever that teacher was, they had to look at that one like, damn, we'll skip that one next year.
Right.
Drug test? Nope.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so before we wrap things up, Matt, tell us where we can find you.
If you're not going to Tatsumi, which you should go to Tatsumi first,
Do it.
going tinyarrow.com/Tatsumi, TATSUMI, Tatsumi the Serpent Mistress. That's where we want you to go first. But if you're like, dude, I want to know about the other titles. I want to know about the metal music. I want to see these articles that are written. I want to see all this other stuff you do. Go to linktree.com/InSymmetry Creations, INSYMMETRY Creations. We've got links to everything that Steph and I put our hands to. And then you can go from there.
Nice. All right, Braxton, where can we find you?
Easiest place, go to Central Hub, www.cosbymediaproductions.com. You're going to be able to get all of our stuff. I added a link, Ed, into our chat that you can share that actually takes people to the online store. There, you on our website, you'll be able to find our links to Instagram and Facebook. Follow us. Check us out. We put out trailers. We put out press releases, the whole 9 yards. If you join the newsletter, we'll be more than happy to add you to some of our press stuff so you can find out some of the latest and greatest titles that are coming out because we still have a lot more coming out later on this year. We have the 7th book in the Legacy of Dragonwan fantasy series from Daniel Payton. That's going to be exciting. And we also have book 3 coming from the Archangel X trilogy from the late William Hayashi. So yeah, check us out.
Very cool. Check that out. Get there. I gotta go get my 2 books. So let's see. We also have Brett just threw a link in there. I'm going to share that. And Brett, in the meantime, where can we find you?
So the link I just dropped is my link tree. Thanks for posting that idea, Matt. So yeah, Linktree /Brett Giuliano has all my social media. Basically, search Dust Bunny Mafia. I've been doing this for over 12 years, so I've got pretty good name recognition. It's a pretty unique title. Like we've mentioned, I've got a Kickstarter that's still got 3 days left on it. It's already hit its funding goal, but there's some stretch goals on the way that we're very close to hitting. Otherwise, yeah, search Dust Bunny Mafia, and I'm sure you'll find me.
Yes, and see, 3 days left. That means my procrastination has not been good on this one. That's too late, but that's all right. 3 days left, not 3 hours left. So I've been that bad before too. So yeah, get in there. I can definitely say I've read Matt's work. I've read Brett's work. It's always great. And Braxton, I look forward to reading some of your work because
Thank you, sir.
We share the same love. So I'm sure that love always kind of pours out into the work when you read from somebody. So yeah, I look forward to that. And with that, thank you so much for joining me this week. We will not be live next week. Like I said, next week I will be at Nashville Comic Con doing a walkthrough. My next actual live show with guests won't be until July. So thanks for being my last June show, I guess, or my last May show. And then June will be very sparse. I think there's one maybe. So thank you so much and have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
Tune in Wednesday, please, and give some love to Bear versus Shark.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Click on the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join